Hello, and welcome to the Hypno Fairy Godmother Show. I am Shirley, a clinical hypnotherapist and private practice here in Southern California, advocate, mental health first responder here at Whispering Zen Hypnotherapy and Wellness. Thank you for coming to the show where you can come as you are and leave as you want to be. I know it's a great thing to be able to, just kind of find yourself a little bit, see how it goes. Do you wish you could more freely start a good habit or just start to feel more like you? Well, if that's the case, we need to talk. And by talk, I mean set up an appointment. But, and although I do specialize working with the LGBTQIA community, I love working with everybody and I welcome them. So don't feel like you can't set an appointment if you're not part of the LGBT community. Everybody's welcome. You can book online at any time at whisperingzenhypnotherapy.com. So thank you again for joining the Hypno Fairy Godmother Show, where you can see me on all kinds of platforms. And depending on where you're seeing me, if you're part of my YouTube crew, then please hit like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. If you're listening to me from somewhere else, let me know where you found me. For a list of every place you can find me, you can definitely do it on the website again at whisperingzenhypnotherapy.com. So before we get going today, I want to make sure that everybody's in a safe place. And by safe place, I mean, no driving, especially today, because we're going to go over a few things. So I want to make sure that you're not driving or in the middle of something, or maybe you're, working on a special project. So don't mess that up, because I always, replay. Everything is available after the show on Facebook and on YouTube and things like that. So I don't want anybody getting into trouble while they're driving. You close your eyes or something and it's like, So safe places only. So this is the part that we get to start out every time, and it's my favorite part. Thank you, Roger, who lets me use this. You got to have friends, and I've sort of made it a little bit my own and use what he came up with, but it's perfect. So the first thing I want you to do, and you can do this anywhere and anytime, and it's perfect. I did it this weekend while sitting at an outdoor event just because I was starting to get a little frazzled. So the first thing you want to do is wiggle those toes. That's right, wiggle your toes. Inside your shoes, outside your shoes, I don't care. I'm normally an outside your shoes kind of girl, but that's just me. I love, going barefoot. And so wiggle those toes. Get them moving. Next thing I want you to do is wiggle your buns. I said it. Wiggle your buns. Squeeze in those cheeks. Wiggle your buns. See how things are going. Get your body moving. Because I cannot tell somebody to wiggle their butt without smiling. And I know you can't wiggle your butt without doing the very same thing. So last thing I want you to do while we get going today is I want you to take a nice deep breath from your abdomen. And as you exhale, I want you to say a wonderful affirmation to yourself. Like, we got this. Gonna make it. Been doing good today. Looking great. Whatever it is that you need to tell yourself to get through the next day, get yourself through the next hour, whatever it takes, a wonderful affirmation to just keep you going. You got to tell yourself these things. And sometimes I use them to get through the hour. Sometimes I use them to get through the day. You never quite know, how you're going to do this. So you've been doing great. And if you've got a little extra time, kind of move your body around a little bit, roll your shoulders, roll your neck. Oh, yeah. Yeah, get it going. Come on, bring it to me. And now you have relaxed everything from your toes to your nose and straight up. And here we go. So as we're getting started, want to make sure that I thank one of our sponsors, AndyShirley.com, who has the newest Hubble Bubble Tiny Toes books ready to order and purchase. What's a Chakra and Hubble Bubble Zodiac for Kids are now available on AndyShirley.com. So, and if you want to become a sponsor of the show, let me know. Just contact me on whisperingzenhypnotherapy.com or go to my Patreon page, which is under Hypno Fairy Godmother Radio. How easy is that? So, as we've talked before, I am a hypnotherapist and I get asked a lot of questions, and I love answering people's questions. So, today we're going to kind of go over a few things to add to our Weeble Kung Fu, which, if you don't understand, Weeble Kung Fu is like one of those dolls that kind of rolls back and forth and kind of looks off balance but gets its balance. That is the art of Weeble Kung Fu. You may slide a little, you may go a little forward and a little back, but you're going to land on top, and that's what we want. And it also helps you become a little closer to the person that you really want to become. Because sometimes you don't know how to get to that point. So I love to give you all kinds of little tips and tricks, and we're going to go over that today. We're going to do a little mind hacking that will lead this week and on to next week. So this is kind of a two-parter, so you're going to have to come back to me next week too. Yay! So, like I said, for most of this show, it's really important that you are in a nice, safe place and you're not driving because, like I said, I don't want anybody closing their eyes while they're driving. That's the worst possible thing that can happen. And you can always re-listen later. You can catch little highlights without closing your eyes. So that's great. But we're going to start out the day for me to prove to you how strong your subconscious really is. And that difference between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. So I want you to, if you're in that safe place, what we want you to do is close your eyes. That's right. That's why I said the safe place thing, because you got to close your eyes for this one. And I want you to picture, pretend, or imagine in your mind a huge dill pickle. Just a huge dill pickle. It's big and it's green and it's just really juicy. And you can see that pickle, and you cut a little piece of that pickle off and you see it dripping with juice, and your mouth is already watering. Already watering. And now you take a big bite of that pickle, and you can taste the flavor and even have that little bite in the back of your throat, and you can taste that tang. Did you get that reaction? Now I want you to look at your hand. Open your eyes and look at your hand. And guess what? There is no pickle. There is none. So where did that reaction come from? Did you taste the pickle? Did you get the juice? Did you feel the twang? All of that came from your subconscious, and it came from your mind. Just with your imagination brought that into existence. And if you got that flavor and you got that reaction, congratulations. You now know how strong your subconscious is. Isn't that great? So part of you, you should have had a pretty easy time, but know that because you can do that, you can imagine anything. It's funny because this test is usually done with either an orange or a lemon, and I'm deathly allergic to citrus, so that's why I get to use a pickle. But you can do it with just about anything, and your subconscious is so powerful that it can actually bring on types of anaphylaxis. It's that powerful, and that's why I use a pickle instead of an orange. I don't know why I needed to tell you that, but it just made more sense to me. Now, things get a little funner as we get going. Now that you know how strong you are and how powerful your mind is, we're going to do a body scan. And I love doing body scans. And I've talked about them, but I don't always explain what they are. And I think that that's really super important. And it's something that you can work on, and I know you can do this, but let me try to explain it to you. I personally, on most days, have a pain in my thumb. both of my thumbs actually, because it's been used and abused for years due to a past career. But I can't have it hurting most days because I work from home and I do a lot of typing, and you need thumbs when you're doing lots of typing and you're doing other things. So I did a full body scan, and which I will explain. And I know that the problem that I'm having is actually with that thumb. So I have a location of the pain. And then I tell myself, okay, does that pain have a color? I know it's weird, but work with me here. And it's kind of a dark red. So I know what color the pain is. I know where the pain is. But does that pain have a shape? Well, yeah, it's kind of an oval with little ripply and crazy ripple edges. Is my pain male or female? In this case, my pain feels female. It's just the way I feel right now. So now I need to check and see if it has anything to tell me. I know, but keep going with me. And you might ask, is it there for a reason? Is it there for a reason? It might be there, or it might just be a chronic pain that wants to hang out. You never know. So, you think of that thing, or is it an emotion? It can work with a pain, or it can work with an emotion. And if you're having an emotion and you're dealing with some sort of chronic illness, mental illness, whatever, does it have a color? Or does it have a shape? Ask it, is it male or female? It may be neither. It may be something. When you picture that pain or that thing going on, does it have an animal attached to it? You never know, It's just asking those questions to pinpoint it out, and then ask it, do you have anything to say to me? It might be an old wound that you just don't need anymore. Or is it a new pain or a new issue that you really need to get a handle on? If it's a new pain, you don't want to get rid of it because it's actually there for a reason. Because you don't always want to get rid of 100% of your pain. I know that sounds weird, but sometimes pain is there for a reason, and you need to know how to heal it. Is it something that you can do on your own? Is it something that maybe you need to go see a doctor for? But it's there for a reason. So you need to handle that accordingly. This also works with stress, anxiety, nerves, for some claustrophobia, that a lot of times this has come up with people having claustrophobia from having to wear masks all the time. And I'll cover that in a minute to help you get through that if that's an issue, because we still, in most places, have to wear masks. I know where I live. You go into a store, even any place that you go that has people, not being political at all, just a fact. Now, picture that irritant. For me, my pain was crazy, shaped red, female, and it's decided that it wants to hang out. Now, what I have to do, and what you should do, is picture the farthest place on your body from where it's at. So for me, that could be the tip of my little pinky toe on my left leg. A place where you can't really feel it. So that farthest place from where the pain's at, that's a perfect spot. Not your whole toe or whatever, but just the very, very tip. And take the image of wherever the pain's at, whatever it looks like, whatever angry it is. And I want you to keep shrinking it down and shrinking it down and making it so small that it's less than a little diameter of a hair. Now use your imagination again. Picture, pretend, imagine, whatever you need to do, and take that pain, follow it through your body to the shortest route you can to that far, far away spot and drop it off there. Just drop it off there. Tell yourself that it's there, and it can't hurt you and it can't bother you anymore. You know, tell it that you don't need it, you don't want it, or, you know, if you do, tell it you know, you need it for healing, but tell yourself that it's getting lighter and lighter in color until it's almost disappearing. Your subconscious is such an amazing thing that you can do this with any type of pain. You can also do it for pain or anxiety, you know, almost down to nothing. And sometimes it takes a couple times to get this right. You know, I don't expect you to get it right off the bat, but I know that you can do it. And you just take that pain or that anxiety, you know, and give it a color, give it a face, give it an animal, give it whatever you need to do. And just shrink that down, shrink it, and move it down and put it in the farthest place away from it is on your body. It should go down to almost nothing. And I know that sometimes it'll take a time or two, but it's such a wonderful thing that you can do for yourself. I have used this for anxiety before an event. I have used it, you know, for when I'm feeling bad. If you have kids and sometimes they feel yucky and they can't tell you exactly what it is, they just know that they feel bad. Or if you have a partner that sometimes acts like a child. Yeah, we all know those too. All you have to do is just go, okay, if you can't tell me what the problem is, can you tell me maybe where it is on your body? Can you give it a color? Can you, ask these questions? And it's amazing because especially with kids or adult children, then, they can picture it. And they can give you a description of it. They may not know how to name it. Although you can ask it if it has a name. You can ask it if it has something to tell you. Because sometimes if it has something to tell you, it may be, with my thumbs, I know that, sometimes they go, you've been overworking us lately. And so I'm going to let you know that you need to settle down. Sometimes if I'm having anxiety, it'll say, maybe you overbooked yourself. Maybe you overscheduled yourself. That's great. But sometimes, these little aches and pains and things like that have, they'll tell you what they need. Even if it's chronic, you can still shrink it down and get it out of there. Your subconscious is so amazing. And I love to teach my clients how to do this so that they can do it when they need it. Now, let's say that you are still having a problem wearing a mask. Like I said, this is so not political. It's just the way we are. And I know where I live, I have to do this. And sometimes I have to wear a mask all day. Or depending on what I'm doing, going in and out of stores and things like that. Or even if you just have to do it for a big part of your day. Picture, pretend and imagine. Those are the things that we use because some people are good at picturing. I'm not great at picturing, but I have a wonderful imagination, so I can always use that. And picture putting that mask on the proper way, which is under your chin and over your nose. If you do it under your nose, you're still breathing stuff in. Does you no good whatsoever. So you have to picture yourself putting it on properly. Okay? And it doesn't matter what color it is. You can have, I was wearing a mask this weekend that has this beautiful red fringe on it. I wear them with polka dots on them. It doesn't matter. But for this particular exercise, we're going to picture that green, like a surgeon mask. Because we know that during the day, doctors and surgeons have to wear a mask for hours and hours to do a procedure. The mask you have on is now a surgical mask, and it has a job to do. You know, you think of it as a friend. I know that sounds weird, but just picture it as a friend. It's not trying to make you claustrophobic. It's just there. It is a perfect magical mask that is breathable. And you know it is because doctors wouldn't be able to do their jobs. Yours is the same exact way, you know? And before we do this, like I said, wonderful deep breaths that I teach you how to do. And you go through your steps of doing your breathing, and you put on the magical mask before you leave your house or get out of your car, depending on what you need to do, where you need to do it. And if you want, you can start actually wearing it in your house longer and longer. Not that you need to, but it's a way to practice, and it's a way to start working with that mindfulness and you being aware. So you put on that mask and you take your nice deep breaths and you imagine, picture, or pretend that what it is it's a magical surgeon's mask. We've seen them on TV or movies, and we see that mask is a second layer, and they have it on, and picture it as if it has a face. It's that magical surgeon's mask, but it's got a big smiley face on it. I've seen people wear them that have big smiley faces on them. And that it's here to protect you, but it helps you breathe. It's almost invisible. It's that magical. Letting you know that you can breathe easier. You can see the holes in the material getting bigger and bigger. You can feel the airflow going. And as that's going and you're breathing through, you can feel your heartbeat slowing down. And the anxiety getting less and less. And just telling yourself, I got this, and it is no big deal. Because you know what? You can do it. You're amazing. We already know because you imagined a dill pickle with nothing. So if your mind can imagine a sour dill pickle, it can imagine a beautiful smiley face surgeon mask with great big invisible holes in it, and this is just a thing that you can use, and you can attach it to anything. It can be used for personal growth and well-being, anything like that. At times, having peace of mind and knowing that you're going to be okay is worth millions. It's worth any amount of money to know that you can do that. It's as part of your Weeble Kung Fu. And another way to make you mentally stronger. A couple little things to add to your toolbox. And then, you could share those things that are in your toolbox. The worst that can happen, honestly, the worst that can happen is you spend weeks telling yourself positive and encouraging things every single day. And you're helping other people do the same thing. How horrible would that be? You have to tell yourself happy things about yourself. Or thinking positive. And before you start any of these, you got to get yourself into a positive mind frame. Some days that's not easy. I'm telling you, there are days that I wake up, I stretch out, and I immediately go into positive thinking mode. And I have to, because sometimes I'm not sure which part of my body is actually going to want to work. Lately, I've been dealing with some other things that kind of make me a little off kilter. So it's one of those things. Like everything else, it's a process. It is an absolute process. You don't need to become a top inspirational speaker. That's not what this is about. It's just little steps to help you inspire yourself. Maybe help inspire others. I think everybody should have a big mask with a smiley face on it. If we have to wear them, we might as well have a big smiley face. I actually have a mask that has a Santa beard on it. Just because it makes kids smile. And it makes other people smile too. And I think that that's really important. and it's part of nourishing your soul, taking that time to be with yourself in a mindful, meaningful way, to do something that, that you want to be able to do. Try something new. Try something that you haven't tried before, you know? And if you can put in some concentrated meditation, you know, practice on mindfulness. We know that mindfulness is the art of being present, not thinking about what happened, not thinking about what's going to happen, just being centered. Just being centered. And one of the things that I want us to start trying, it's actually called a 21-day mind hacking challenge. And I know we're in the middle of the month, but it's a great thing to be able to start. And I'm going to go over through some of the steps today, and I'm going to go over some of the steps next week. And it's just something that we can start doing to make ourselves feel better and make ourselves, a little more aware, little things that you can do. And this has to do with writing stuff down. This isn't journaling. I know some of you have a problem with journaling, but this is not it. This is just taking little notes. And that's why it's so important. So the first thing that we're going to do on this, and like I said, you can jot some of this down now. You can rewatch the show later. You can email me or text me, and I can send you directions, however you want to do it. But I think that this is really important, and it's hacking your mind, and it's figuring things out. This is one of those nourishing your soul situations. So the first thing we're going to do on day one, and day one can be today, day one can be tomorrow. It's up to you. I don't believe in going, okay, I have to start something on Monday, or I have to start something at the first of the month or the first of the year. It doesn't matter. Day one can be today. It's Monday, but day one can be today. Day one can be on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. It's fine. Some people get really hung up on when they need to start things, and they never do. So pick your day one, and ta-da, that's it. So it's important to kind of set aside a little bit of time and, figure out when maybe you have a good time to start this. A practice time. Sometimes it works great first thing in the morning. Sometimes it works great to start and do this at the end of the day when things have started to quiet down. But don't forget that if you don't do it at exactly 9 o'clock every single night or 7 o'clock every single morning, it can fluctuate. This is not one of those have to do it at a specific time. It's just sometimes, we have routines, and if I get out of my routine, I forget everything. And so I have to set a routine time. And sometimes it's good if you have a specific location. So know that at the end of the day, 9 o'clock, chilling in my favorite chair or sitting on my bed or whatever, just know that you have a specific time and place to at least try to start, and that's how difficult step one is. It's just deciding what would be the best for you. Is there a specific time? Is there a specific time and place? Who knows? But I know that you will, so that's good. So day two. Yes, we've survived day one. So for day two, our brain during the day are just filled with thoughts, and they take up, spots in our brain. And so sometimes it's best for us to write them down, and you might find that some of those thoughts have escaped from your mind, but don't go chasing them. They're just thoughts. They go in and they go out. And, we use these to build up self-awareness, which is good. So over the course of the day, try to do this as many times during the day as you can, or wait until you have, your time. But maybe sometimes for some of these, it's good to grab your phone and make a note thing. Most phones these days have notes or Word Perfect or, just like a little notes app. And take down the number of times that you have an aha moment. Like the light bulb goes off, or, you know, um, you know, just these aha moments of self clarity where you're like, okay, I get it. I got it. I understand what I need to do. Just, so what you want to do when you have one of those aha moments is mark down how many times you have an aha moment. And then mark down what those aha moments were so that you don't forget. One of my favorite aha moments is usually if I'm talking to my wife or a friend or whatever, and somebody brings up an obscure reference to a song or to a person or something that we've watched in the past, and you cannot think of what it is. And the fun thing about your subconscious is your subconscious will just start rolling. Whether you're aware of it or not, your subconscious is like a big hard drive. I used to say Rolodex, but think of it as a big hard drive. And it's just going to keep going through files until it just tags it. And you don't know how long it's going to take. You don't know when it's going to happen. But you're going to have this light bulb aha moment. And you're going to go, I just thought of it. I just absolutely thought of it. So that would be an aha moment. So write down what it is and what happened. I just remembered the name of the person or the name of the song or the movie or whatever that I've been trying to find for a day now. I've had aha moments up to 2 days later. And then you start to think, why did I need to remember this? But it'll click in. And those would be an aha moment. Or maybe something happened at work that you've been working on, a problem. And you quit thinking about it because it's driving you crazy, and then it pops back into your mind and you have that aha moment. Now I know how to fix this issue. Now I have the answer that somebody's been looking for. Those are your aha moments. And just kind of keep track. You'll be amazed at how many aha moments that you have. When I started, ticking those down, I was like, wow, I have these all the time. I never knew what to call them before, but they are literally aha moments. So day 3, we're going to add to that brain, and we're going to, mark down again. And you want to do this in your little notes. If you're at work or you're out and you don't have a little notepad with you, that's why phones are amazing these days. But you'll notice that you get distracted during the day. We all get distracted. There are thoughts going in and out. It's like a super highway, not like one in LA where everybody's jam-packed, but like a major Autobahn. Thoughts are in and out, and they can be really distracting. So what we want to do on this day 3 is this time, think of how many times you get distracted. Like, oh, look, a butterfly, you see a color, you see something, you see somebody walk by, and all of a sudden your brain is distracted. And it could be a combination of an aha moment and a distraction. But what you want to do is keep track of these distractions. You will be freaked out how many times we get distracted a day. And write down what that distraction is. What distracted you? Was it a color? Was it somebody walking by? Was it something that you heard in the distance? Was it a sound? What was it that made you distracted from what you were working on? Once you start marking these down, you're going to be going, how do I get anything done? Oh my hey. It's just the craziest thing how often we get distracted. So for day 4, we're going to do something that I love, and it's called, get out of the matrix. Just take a break from the matrix. Seriously, every single day we are bombarded with technology, and it is a total distraction. Even if you're not aware of it, exactly what it is, it's a little known fact, but digital marketing experts have estimated that Americans are exposed to, get this, 4,000 to 10,000 ads a day. A day. That is a lot of garbage cluttering up those brains and trying to get your attention. So take time, and I've told you this so many times, but take time to just unplug. Now, not for the rest of my hour, but other times, then you can unplug. No Facebook, no Messenger, no TikTok, no Instagram, no nothing. Just disconnect. And if you need to keep something on for work, then please keep something on for work. I don't want you getting into trouble. But if you can, just unplug. Unsubscribe from random promotional emails for them popping up. Just unsubscribe. If they got your number or whatever, hit unsubscribe. You don't need that. I spend so much time a day hitting spam, unsubscribe. Turn off your notifications from Twitter. You don't need to know what everybody posts every single day. You don't. You can take an hour, take a couple hours. The world went on before you got subscribed. They can go with a little bit of time without you. I know that sounds harsh for some people, but it is so freeing. And what we want to do is mark down the number of the distractions that you get, once again, but how many of those distractions did you turn off? Got an ad and I unsubscribed. I got a notification and I turned off my notifications. Think of it that way. It's kind of amazing when you start taking control and knowing that, by not having to deal with your phone going off every 30 seconds, I've literally started turning my phone off from notifications at a certain point every day. If I want to look, I can look, but my phone does not go off to let me know. And I did that for my own self-preservation, because I would be getting notifications all night long. And I have this watch that I love, but every time I get a notification, it vibrates. And so not only was my phone vibrating, but my arm was vibrating and waking me up. And I was like, don't need this. I need sleep more than I need to know what the latest whatever is. And it's not good for your brain, and it's not good for your health to be up all night checking notifications. The world will be there when you wake up. You have to have a certain amount of sleep every single day for your brain to keep functioning and for your body to keep functioning. Take it from me. It's so easy to, get so wrapped up that you start to lose your mind a little bit. And nobody needs that. It's crazy as hell, but you just don't need it. You don't need all the chaos. Are you with me? Are you still with me? Okay. It's important that you're still with me and you're still hanging on. I realize I haven't lost people yet, so I'm pretty excited about that. So, day 5. Day 5. We're probably only going to handle like one day more, maybe 2. And then we'll finish up next week because I don't want to overload you. You know, it's important that we do these things, and I have done these things. I would never ever tell you guys to do something that I'm not willing to do myself or that I haven't already done. That is so important that you know that I'm not just spouting this stuff, that I actually believe in it. I do. So we're going to take a little bit of time on day 5 to make your brain a little stronger. So what we want to do on this day is take 5 to 10 minutes to kind of start training your brain a little bit. You know, it's like physical exercise. This is going to take a little time and repetition, but it is so worth it. You got to trust me on these things. You know, look at the detailed picture of your choices that you make. You know, it's okay. You know, just look for the little pictures in your mind. And your job is to point out and absorb as many of the details of these pictures that you can, that you're picturing. You know, to close your eyes and take time to recreate a picture in your mind that you really like. Can be of anything. Just take time to remember, we're picture, pretend, and imagine. That's what we do. And once you do that, once you have that picture in your mind, you can't change pictures. This is important that you need to just keep that one in your mind. We don't want to overdo it. And try to pick out, after you've already looked at it, every single detail of that picture. And it can be a picture of an apple. It can be a picture of a sunset. It can be a picture of a boat. It can be a picture of a dog, anything. But picture all of the details of this, you know, and take 5 to 10 minutes to process this. This is not a long thing. This is like max 10 minutes. So, you know, just take that time. And then you can open up your eyes and picture, pretend, or imagine that picture again, and note how many things you got right and how many things you got wrong from that picture. So you mark down in little columns again on your pad, on your notepad, or your phone, or your whatever. You know, bring up that picture again after you write all this down. And you write down all of the details that you can remember from your picture. If it was a dog, what color was it? Was it multiple colors? Did it have wrinkles? How many toes it had? How big his ears were? How big his tail was? Anything like that. Color of his eyes. And mark down every single detail that you can remember. When you're done with that, and you've listed every possible thing that you can imagine. You know, if it was an apple, what color was it? How big was the stem? Where was it located? What did you see? What was the background? What was the shape? You know, things like that. And when you're done writing down all those things, bring the picture back up again on your screen. Whether it's computer, whether it's your phone, whatever. Whether you have the picture in front of you, the actual picture. And look at your list and notice how many things that you got right from what you're seeing now and how many things that you got wrong. And what this does is it helps you when you're creating, when you're trying to remember. It just helps with your brain. And that's what it's all about. It's helping with your brain. You know, you're training your brain to notice details. It's kind of like, and you can almost use this as an aha moment and go, oh, I'm really distracted. So after, you know, you have days where you're marking down distractions and how you handled them. You're marking down aha moments and what they are. You're marking, you know, and it's just little tiny steps. We're not going to go over any more today because I think I may have overloaded you. And that is the last thing that I really want to do. So there's no more overloading. Um, but, and so what we're going to do is we're going to kind of give you a few more tips and tricks on what you can do when you feel a little overloaded, mentally overloaded. These are some things that you can do, and you could do them in a car, you can do them at your desk. So they're not huge things where everybody knows what you're doing. you know I'd like to make things a little easier for you, and these are all things that I do. These are part of your little toolbox, that you can use at any time. And the first one, and like I said, I used this one this weekend. That's how, I was starting to get a little overstressed and a little overwhelmed, and I needed to calm down real fast. So I used what we call the 4-3-2-1. That's right. Easy to remember. So the first thing you want to do is you want to look around for 4 things that you can see right around you. What do I see around me? 4 things, really quick. We were doing a craft show. We were in the parking lot, and it was like, I can see cars, I can see animals, I can see, whatever it was that I could see. Then you want to concentrate and find 3 things that you can touch immediately. Can I touch the table? Can I touch what we're selling? Can I touch my pants? Can I touch my shirt? What is it 3 things that I can touch? Then you want to do 2 things that you can hear. So you have to listen. Can I hear a truck go by? Can I hear a train go by? Can I hear the birds? Can I hear the wind? Whatever it is, just 2 things that you can hear. And the last thing is to tell yourself 1 thing that you absolutely know. I know that today is a good day. I know that I'm going to be able to make it through. I know that the person next to me is annoying me. It can be anything. I had a client once tell me that they absolutely knew that today they were feeling perfect. I love that. Tell yourself something positive. What do I know? This is what I know. And you can do these anywhere. You can do these in your car, in your cubicle, in the bathroom, wherever you need to go to just calm your mind down. Just calm your mind down. We like to talk about, your self-compassion pause. I'm not going to get over this. I'm going to tell you about the 3-minute, the 3-minute breathing exercise. I'm about to tell you about the self-compassion pause one more time. Because again, these are things that you can do anywhere you need to. Sorry about that. You just got to see my notes. But you can do these anywhere. Focus. This is what I want you to do. I want you to focus on your awareness. And know as you're focusing on your awareness that you can be mindful, that it can help you out, that you can get things centered. You can get yourself centered. Just be aware that you can do this. Then I want you to put your hand on your chest. Make some sort of contact with yourself. Give yourself a hug if you can. Just some physical contact. I am here. I am legit and I am worthy. Sometimes we need to make physical contact with yourself. Sometimes we get to where it's almost like an out-of-body thing, and you need to bring yourself back down. And do your deep breathing. While you're doing that, feel your heart go down. Feel your blood pressure. Feel your shoulders relax. And after you do that, acknowledge that maybe you are having a bad day. It's okay. It is absolutely okay. If that's where you're at, that's where you're at. Hopefully you're having an okay day. But if you're not, acknowledge it. Live it. Know it. Whatever. Do that. It's perfect. Acknowledging that your feelings are real and they're worthy and it's okay. I keep telling you, it's okay to have a bad day. We don't have to be flighty and walking on sunshine 24/7. That is not what this is about. This is about being aware of your feelings and acknowledging them and knowing that you're going to be okay. It's the same as doing the 3-minute, breathing space. The first question you need to ask yourself is, how am I doing right now? How am I doing? Am I doing good? Am I doing okay? Am I just barely hanging on? Ask yourself, how am I doing? Focus on your feelings. Focus on your thoughts. Any sensations. How am I doing? The second minute. Take that awareness of what you're thinking and how you're thinking and concentrate on those deep breaths. Make sure they're coming from your diaphragm, not your upper chest. Up here, up in your chest, those are not true breaths. Those are little shallow things that can actually cause more anxiety than they're worth. Make sure that you're taking deep, deep breaths. And then I want you to use those deep breaths and expand outward from your breath. How are those breaths making you feel? Are they calming? Are they soothing? Is your heart slowing down? Is your body starting to relax? Acknowledge what they're doing. And I understand that, trying to keep a quiet mind is really challenging. That's why we're acknowledging them. It's okay. Random thoughts are going to pop up. That's why we're writing them down. Random thoughts are going to pop up. Acknowledge them. Write them down. And just let them go. Just let them go. You don't need to dwell on every bad thing. And it's so easy to do. I have gone down that rabbit hole. It's okay. It's absolutely okay. I got sent a message this week. It was a little meme and it meant the world to me. And it's almost my new mantra, that said that you can be a work in progress and a masterpiece at the same time. And it's true. And I hold that dear. So I encourage you to go out, go out and get some fresh air, whether you have to take that invisible magical mask with you, imagine that. We've gone through that. You now know how to have to put that mask on and picture it as a surgeon mask, but it's got big air holes in it to help you breathe. You now know how to do that. And if you need to go through a lot of the information that I talked about today, know that it's all on my Facebook page. If you're listening to me and watching me through Facebook, this is recorded there. If you're watching me on YouTube, this is, you can go over this again. Sometimes, I talk so fast that trying to take notes is a little hard. If you really need to, text me, email me, hypnofairygodmother@yahoo.com. Ask me to send you what the heck I was talking about today. I will do that for you. I will always do that for you. Just take note of your mental state. Take note of who you are and how you feel during the day. Know that I'll always be there. So I want you to thank you. I want you to know that I thank you for listening today. And it has been my pleasure to even be a small part of what your journey is. And I hope that it's been calming. I know maybe a little chaotic today, but maybe it's been helpful and maybe a little bit soothing. And mostly I hope that wherever you are, you're leaving a little closer to who you really want to be. I'm Shirley Yance, clinical hypnotherapist, activist, and mental health first responder here at Whispering Zen Hypnotherapy and Wellness. And I work together with my clients, maybe you if you want to become one of my clients, and we work as a team to help you find the best way to get to be and feeling more like you. And we get to do this without fear and without, weird habits and things like that. And I work online so I can be with you wherever you are, wherever you need me. I am there for you. And I realize that, when I tell people I'm a hypnotherapist, it can be a little scary for some people. But if you want to, let's see if we can work together, to help you get to where you want to be. Again, I'm Shirley Yance. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist. And if you want to book a consultation or an appointment with me, you can always do that on whisperingzenhypnotherapy.com. And it has been my sincere pleasure to help you out and be with you today. So one last time, remember to take a nice deep breath. Hold that breath in. And I want you to exhale with a gigantic smile and know that you're loved. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you tell your friends about the show so we can start building up a little more popularity on this. And I promise it's going to be okay. And I promise you I will see you next week. Lots of happiness and joy. Bye now.